So I wanted to go ahead and show you guys the Mission Fleet Razor Crest. So I'll talk through just some of the features to this and what accessories it comes with, show you a size comparison also, and some measurements. So starting out first with just what it comes with. So it comes with the Mandalorian. The one thing that's great about this figure, from a size perspective, just to show you really quick, he's about 2.5 inches tall. But the cool thing about this is he actually has articulation. So he's got a ball and socket joint here on his wrist that moves. And then the arms have just kind of a normal hinge joint, but it can move around. And then his head is also a ball and socket joint. So the great thing about this is, if we flip him over, you can see he's got a peg hole here on his back. So what you can do is with two of the accessories, you get the jetpack, and then you also get his cape. Both of them have the peg holes. Obviously we can just insert the jetpack on him. But then if you want to put the cape on, in order to get it on, you can typically kind of put it on this way where you just push it on like that. It slides right on. But you can also pop his head off if you needed to be able to take the cape back off. Now with the Grogu that comes with him, this one has a little bit of articulation also in the head. So also a ball and socket joint. It's got just a little bit of movement to it. One of the other accessories that this comes with is this little cradle for Grogu to sit in. It really just stands in it. It doesn't really plug in or anything like that. There's no holes in there, and there you can see his feet. So nothing on the back of him either. But you see how that works here in the cockpit in a second. It also comes with 2 guns that attach to the side here, and then you get 4 of these little missiles. So these guys just plug in here. They actually fire pretty good. So they've got pretty good firepower on them. And then you also get this gun here that can attach really in a couple different places on the top of the ship. So, there's 4 different places here where this guy could plug in. Really kind of up to you how you want to go through and do that. But it does come with 4 of these things, so 2 for the front and then 2 for that. The other accessories that this comes with, I'll show you just on the inside really quick, and then we'll take a look at the ship. But you can see on the inside here, it's got all of these extra guns. So I went ahead and put them all in there. They're pretty cool. I'll just pull one out just so you can kind of see what it looks like. These are just a relatively soft rubber, so you can see that bends really easily. But they fit perfect with the actual figure itself. And they look actually really cool in here on this on his gun rack. So now let's go ahead and walk through the ship. So first, just doing a size here. So this board is obviously 11 inches long. It's just about that long, maybe slightly longer, 11.5 inches or so from front to back. From side to side, you can see here, do it this way. It's roughly about 7.5 inches from side to side. So looking at this just really quickly from a size comparison to the Action Fleet. So here is your Action Fleet X-Wing, and then here is the Razor Crest. So, from a scale perspective, it's probably somewhat close. Certainly if you see the show and you're looking at how the X-Wings are flying relative to the Razor Crest, looks similar. Looks good in terms of scale, but obviously, from a size, the Razor Crest is significantly bigger. So now just looking at the ship itself, the paint job on here is actually decent. It looks like it has a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's kind of a dull gray. It would have been nicer if this was just a little bit more of like a shiny type of a gray like you would see in the actual show, but it does have the cool decal on here. So, from a top perspective, that's what it looks like. looking at the front. The great thing is they do have some coloration in here inside the engine. It does spin around a little bit as well, which is pretty cool. That's what it looks like from this side. And then on the bottom, this landing gear here is attached. It doesn't move, and you can't take it off. So we'll start, cockpit back here. So the cockpit does open like that, and you get 2 seats in there. So this is where you can actually fit the little cradle for Grogu. Sits right back in here, and actually does lock in place, so it stays relatively stable. And then, you can take the Mandalorian here and put him in the front. So with the articulation you can get out of his arms, you can actually make him sit in here pretty good. So he could actually, put his hands on these little pegs like he's steering it, which is great. Really good detail in the cockpit here, kind of all along the side. I'll take him back out again. So good detail in there with the paint. The seat looks really cool. I've seen some people actually take this thing apart, so I will at some point. But just haven't yet. And then on the back, this whole portion here of the engines actually pops off. So if you push this little yellow tab, you can lift that thing off of there. So there's what the underside looks like. And then here is the inside. So you can see the blue in there. This is great where you can kind of see the sticker in here, which actually looks pretty cool. It doesn't have to be applied, so there are no stickers for this. You literally just pop that top portion on and then stick the guns on the front. So then you have the side that opens. So again, you can get access into here. You have a door that opens right there as well. So you can see another sticker inside there. And then there's some other, great detail inside there. You can't really access that, which is somewhat unfortunate, but it is pretty cool. And then you have the rear here that opens as well. So now you can see all the way inside. And again, some pretty good detail for this. I was concerned with this specific toy that, there wasn't going to be a whole lot to it. It was going to be kind of, cheap and not look that great. But actually having this in person, this thing looks really cool. A lot cooler than I had expected it to look. And when you put it back together, again, just from a scale perspective, it looks really great next to the actual action fleet. The figures look kind of play schoolish. You got the big legs versus the torso. I do like the articulation in the head. And then again, if you had your X-Wing parked right next to it, that's essentially what it looks like. So really cool features to this guy. I think overall I really enjoy it. I will probably end up getting some other Mission Fleet ships just because the ships themselves are really cool. And then, may potentially do something to weather this a little bit more or change the paint scheme in the future. But overall, if you were looking for this guy and looking for it to be somewhat close to Action Fleet, it's not. It's definitely bigger. However, from a scale perspective, looking at them next to one another, it looks pretty close. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below.